Even the wisest rulers can make mistakes, and Solomon was no exception to this rule. Behind the facade of splendor and apparent wisdom lies a deep-seated weakness that, when it finally emerged, led his reign to the precipice, jeopardizing everything he had built. Today, we will delve meticulously into every minute aspect that is documented in the sacred scriptures, examining from Solomon's rise to the throne to his final moments of life, which were so significant. I firmly believe that this diligent effort deserves you to take a moment to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, thus helping us spread this video. Solomon, the legitimate successor of King David and his wife Bathsheba, is a truly remarkable figure in the sacred scriptures, being widely recognized for his extraordinary wisdom, immense wealth, and a crucial role in the construction of the temple in Jerusalem, which would become a symbol of faith. Solomon's ascent to the throne of Israel occurred in a context filled with significant challenges and intense family intrigues. After David's death, his son Adonijah attempted to usurp the throne, but the prophetic intervention of Nathan, together with Bathsheba, ensured that Solomon, chosen by God, would be crowned as the new king. The divine revelation to David, stating that Solomon would succeed him and build the temple in Jerusalem, is clearly documented in the first book of Chronicles, chapter 22. God declared, "You have shed much blood and waged great wars. You shall not build a house for my name, for you have shed so much blood before me. However, you shall have a son who shall be a man of peace and rest. I will give him peace from all his enemies around him. His name shall be Solomon, and I will give peace and quiet to Israel during his reign." Solomon, whose name is synonymous with peace, began his reign by promoting harmony and unity within the kingdom, which was essential in times of uncertainty. The most striking and distinctive characteristic of Solomon, which set him apart from the leaders of his time, was his exceptional and uncommon wisdom. In the early moments of his reign, he made a significant covenant with God, a moment that not only demonstrated his wisdom but also his intention to seek divine guidance in his leadership. This covenant and its conditions are recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 3, verses 3 to 14. The crucial event took place in Gibeon, where Solomon presented sacrifices to the Lord, demonstrating his devotion. That night, God revealed himself to Solomon in a dream and said, "Ask what I shall give you." In response to this divine offer, Solomon expressed his humility, recognizing the heavy weight of the monumental responsibility of leading the people of Israel. He emphasized his urgent need for wisdom to judge and govern justly and equitably. Solomon understood his total dependence on God to guide his steps and make wise decisions that would benefit the Israelite people. Solomon's choice to seek knowledge and wisdom instead of material wealth or personal prestige clearly demonstrated his desire to govern with integrity and justice, reflecting the true essence of a wise and God-fearing ruler. The divine response to Solomon's request was, indeed, extraordinary and surprising. God praised the king's choice and, in addition to granting the wisdom he had requested, also promised additional blessings, including unmatched wealth and honor. Throughout Israel's history, a famous episode that exemplifies this wisdom is the complex situation of two women disputing the motherhood of a baby. The narrative, which can be found in the first book of Kings, chapter 3, verses 16 to 28, describes the story of two women who cohabited and gave birth practically at the same time. Tragically, one of the children died, causing both women to claim the surviving child as their own. Faced with this distressing dilemma, they presented themselves to King Solomon in search of justice. Instead of rushing to a hasty decision, Solomon proposed an extraordinary and surprising solution: to divide the child in half and offer one half to each woman. The response of each woman at that moment clearly revealed who the true mother was. The woman who genuinely loved the child implored the king not to harm the baby and suggested instead that the child be given to the other woman. The other woman, who was not the biological mother, accepted the division proposed. Solomon's astute and perceptive judgment revealed the true mother, the one willing to give up the child to protect it from any harm. Solomon then proclaimed that the true mother was the one who demonstrated genuine maternal love and ordered that the child be given to her, reinforcing his position as a wise leader. In addition to his admirable wisdom, Solomon was also widely acclaimed for his remarkable achievements, including the grand construction of the temple in Jerusalem. This grand endeavor served as the spiritual center of the kingdom and symbolized the constant presence of God among the people of Israel. The temple not only showcased Solomon's administrative skills but also the wealth and prosperity of the kingdom during his reign. The desire to build a temple for the Lord was initially conceived by his father, King David. However, it was Solomon who brought this noble project to fruition, transforming the vision into reality. The biblical narrative details intricate elements and precious materials, such as cedar from Lebanon for the structure and pure gold for the ornaments, reflecting the devotion and reverence of the king towards God. The location chosen for the construction of the temple, known as Mount Moriah, held profound symbolic significance, as it was the very place where Abraham proved his faith by being willing to sacrifice his son Isaac. This act of faith and obedience, which preceded the building of the temple, highlighted the special and continuous relationship between God and his people. The Temple of Solomon emerged as the spiritual and cultural center of Israel, representing unwavering unity and devotion. Solomon's commitment transcended the boundaries of his kingdom, fostering international alliances through trade and diplomacy. A notable example was the visit of the Queen of Sheba, who traveled great distances to evaluate Solomon's wisdom, as recorded in the books of 1 Kings 10 verses 1 to 13 and 2 Chronicles 9 verses 1 to 12. The queen posed challenging and intriguing questions, and Solomon, displaying all of his wisdom, answered each one, leaving her utterly amazed. Upon arriving in Jerusalem, an impressive caravan filled with spices, gold, and precious stones underscored the diplomatic nature of that meeting. Together with the Queen of Sheba, Solomon established diplomatic ties with neighboring kingdoms, solidifying these relationships through marriages, uniting himself with princesses from Egypt and Phoenicia, a common practice of the time aimed at strengthening bonds and promoting peace among the realms. However, Solomon's reign, despite being widely celebrated for its wisdom and splendor, was not free from flaws. A significant deviation was his association with women from foreign nations, which went against divine instructions, as reported in 1 Kings 11 verses 1 to 3. Solomon contracted marriage with numerous foreign wives, including the daughter of the Pharaoh, disregarding God's law that prohibited marrying women who worshipped other deities. This transgression would have profound repercussions for Solomon's rule and for the history of Israel. As the twilight of his reign approached, shadows began to encroach upon the once respected monarch. Despite his initial wisdom and grandeur, the later years of Solomon revealed a story of glory intertwined with darkness, exposing the intricate complexities of life and governance. The decline of Solomon stemmed from his marriages to foreign women, which extended beyond political alliances and introduced external cultural and religious influences into Israel. These wives brought their own religious practices, gradually exerting a negative influence on Solomon. He began to tolerate the worship of various idols, participating in rituals that contradicted the exclusive worship of the God of Israel. The climax of this transgression was marked by the construction of temples dedicated to idols that represented the deities of his foreign wives, an act that directly violated divine commandments. This apostasy, which included the establishment of altars, prepared the ground for the growing shadow that loomed in Solomon's final days. As Solomon aged, the repercussions of his past choices, especially his marriages to foreign women and acceptance of idol worship, began to cast a dark cloud over his reign. God's displeasure manifested, and adversaries rose against Solomon. Jeroboam, a trusted official, rebelled and became a prominent leader who would eventually govern the northern tribes. The final days of Solomon's life, as narrated in the first book of Kings, chapters 11 and 12, formed a combination of splendor and shadows, revealing the complexity of life and leadership. His death marked the end of an era, a reign that lasted 4 decades. Although the exact cause of Solomon's death remains unspecified in the scriptures, the passage in 1 Kings 11 verses 41 to 43 states, "Now the rest of the acts of Solomon and all that he did, including his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the Acts of Solomon?" The time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. And Solomon slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David, his father, and Rehoboam, his son, reigned in his place. Thus, Solomon's legacy, adorned by the magnificent construction of the temple in Jerusalem and an unprecedented era of peace and prosperity, came to an end with his death, leaving a kingdom in transition. With Solomon's passing, his son Rehoboam ascended to the throne, marking a pivotal moment that would result in the division of the kingdom of Israel into 2 distinct realms, the northern kingdom under the leadership of Jeroboam and the southern kingdom, primarily composed of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, with Rehoboam assuming command. The final days of Solomon cast a shadow over the unity of the kingdom, preparing the way for a tumultuous transition for his son. The kingdom that his father had established was now fractured under the weight of the consequences of Solomon's decisions. This division served as a poignant reminder of the profound impact that ethical and spiritual choices can have on the life of a leader and the fate of a nation. The story of Solomon serves as a powerful warning about the enduring importance of ethical and spiritual decisions, with long-lasting repercussions for leaders and societies. As we reach this point, I would like to express my gratitude for your interest in the content. I invite you to subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback is extremely valuable. Thank you for joining us, and may you receive abundant blessings.